Hey everybody, Mtn Grandma here. My name's Tammy and thank you for coming by the channel. I am excited to share with you today a recipe that I feel honored to have learned and been given. Some very dear friends of ours that are Norwegian, the last time we were over to visit, shared some food that they had there. And I told her, these are like the best tortillas I've had in my entire life. And she said, no honey, these aren't tortillas, these are lefse. So I'm going to share with you the recipe for lefse, the traditional way that they make it in the Norwegian culture. This is a Depression era recipe that people use to be able to save some of their flour and use less flour to make a bread type, looks like a tortilla. You'll see. But we just love it. It tastes awesome. I'm going to show you how they make it the traditional way. To the best of my ability, I'll bet you there'll be lefse makers out there going, no, Mtn Grandma, you missed it just a little bit. But to the best of my ability, I'm going to show you the traditional way, and then I'm going to show you how we're also eating it for dinner tonight. So let's go. All right, so first thing that I did was I have some smaller sized potatoes. I peeled and chopped about 6 or 7 of those. And here they are. I'm going to put these on to boil. Once they're boiled, I will go ahead and mash them up. And then once we're done mashing them, you will not add butter, you will not add milk, and that is not, those strong hands are not mine. That's my hubby's strong hands. But once you get them all mashed up, you're going to put them in a bowl and stick them in the fridge and let them get cold. So that's what we'll be doing now. All right, so here's those mashed potatoes, or smashed. You don't put any butter or milk in them, so not to be confused with mashed potatoes. But here those are, they've been chilled. I'm now gonna measure out 2 cups of potatoes and 1 cup of flour. Alrighty, so I've got my potatoes, I got my flour, I got my salt. Just so you all know, I'm doubling this recipe. The next thing we need, if you're doing a single recipe, is gonna be a tablespoon of lard and a tablespoon of butter. I'll be adding 2 tablespoons of each because I'm doubling it. So let's get to it. All right, so as a reminder, here's what you got. 1 cup flour, 2 cups of smashed potatoes, 1 tablespoon butter, 1 tablespoon lard, and a half a teaspoon of salt. All right, let's get to mixing. Okay, and there we have our dough. Isn't she pretty? It's a wonderful dough. What I'm going to do now is make some little balls and then roll it out and get it put in the cast iron. So here we go. Alrighty, one thing to note about this dough is that it is a little bit on the sticky side. So I feel like I tend to use more flour than I might if I was, you know, rolling, I don't know, something else. It takes a little bit more flour, but it's really easy to work with. For lefse, what they suggest is to roll it really, really thin. You're going to roll this out like as if you were rolling out a tortilla, but don't do what I do. Make it round to the best of your ability. And I'm going to roll this really thin and try not to have it stick to my rolling pin here. And you see I keep flouring it because it does take a lot of flour. For lefse, traditional lefse, you want it really thin, is what my friends had shared with me, and they make it kind of sweet. My husband and I have also, we made this the other day, and we made it thicker, and we didn't necessarily eat it with anything sweet, we just ate it. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of drape this over my rolling pin and take it over to the cast iron skillet and start cooking it. All right, I'm going to drop this into a very hot, dry skillet. There we go. We're going to let that sit. You'll start to notice bubbles come up on the top, and then that's when you know to flip it. We are already made one. We've been eating on it. So be prepared to make plenty so you can eat on it while you cook it. Great, and now it's ready to flip. We actually maybe even cooked it a little too hard because you want it a little lighter than that. That's still good. All right, and here we've got one all cooked. We're going to finish up with this stack, and then we'll show you how they prepare it traditionally. In Norwegian way. Okay, see how I do this. There we go. Yahoo! So in case you guys haven't noticed, it's obviously me and my husband both in here. This is a more than one person job, in my humble opinion. And one story that our friend shared with us is that this is what they did at Christmas time. And they would have somebody rolling the dough, someone kind of doing what I'm doing here, flopping it in, and they might have two skillets going. You do want your skillets to be super hot, which is why I like to use my cast iron. But yeah, more than one person job, but it's a lot of fun, and you just gotta fight yourself off of the temptation of eating the ones that you made. All right, here's our stack. We do have one more in the pan. I got better at making them round after a while. And we, gosh guys, I don't know, a good dozen, I think. I think it made about a dozen when I doubled it. And I'm gonna show you how they traditionally prepare these, and then I'm gonna show you what we're doing with it. All right, so for traditional lefse, they will put butter on it, and gonna butter this down, and then, ooh, that's a lot of butter right there. There we go. All right, so I got butter on it, and now I'm gonna sprinkle some sugar. I don't know if that might be however much you want. And then they sprinkle some cinnamon on there. And then she folded it in half and then rolled it. And she might, Jean, if you're watching, I know you're probably thinking, you should have rolled them thinner. But we want to put like meat in them too, so anyhow. But this is it, and it's really good, you guys. Okay, now what we got here, you guys, is some leftover carne asada meat, onions, jalapenos, and I don't know if you noticed, but just good old cheapo hot dogs all cut up and put in there. And we're going to see if some of these thicker ones we rolled will hold this. All right, everyone, that's it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you all go try to make this lefse yourself. Always a great idea to have another Depression-era recipe under your belt for making some sort of bread that uses less flour. And a special thank you to our dear friends for this recipe and for, letting us do this video and share the recipe with others. I hope that it blesses a lot of people. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Don't forget to like and comment, and if you aren't already a subscriber, I hope you'll consider doing that and hit that bell so you get our future videos. Take care, you guys. We'll see you in the next one.